Butterflies! This is part 2 of Universal Magic, The Chosen One. Chapter 2, Shadowgill. Shadowgill was not a very good place at all. At training time, which was 3 times a day for 2 hours, Marina had to train with me, and because my only power was healing, and in the group I was seen as a weakling, she got to throw me around and beat me up as much as she wanted. She practiced her power on me like I was a training dummy. You're just a useless healer. You will never be a good fighter, or a good mage. All you will ever be is someone's little bitch in a fight, Marina said, trying to drill that into my head every time we saw each other or trained together. After training, I always left the area with bruises, scratch marks, and bleeding areas. Luckily, over time, I learned to heal myself. Others told me to tell my dad about it, but my dad sat there and watched it happen. He was always cheering Marina on during training. Eventually, I learned some fighting skills and was able to fight back, but not enough to fight against magic. Well, at least that's what they had me believe. The truth of the matter was that any time I got close to victory, Dad would use his creation magic in some way to slow me down or cause me to fumble. I tried to call him out on it a couple times when I caught him in the act, but he just slapped me hard to shut me up and threatened to punish me if I continued speaking that nonsense. I never liked my father, not ever since he changed the way he did. One day, after a training session with Marina, I went over to a bench and started to heal myself slowly as Father approached me. I'm glad you learned to heal yourself after training. Now we won't have to push back Marina's training time because your weak body is barely breathing, he said. I looked at him with disdain, not saying a word. What's that look for? It's not my fault you don't know how to defend yourself, he added. I looked at him and spoke without thinking, anger clouding my mind after healing my last wound. I do know how to defend myself. I know how to fight, Father. It's you who hides my fighting abilities during training just to make Marina feel better about herself, I shouted, glaring at my father with hatred. I was tired of the way I was being treated. I never wanted to join Shadowgill, and I never asked to live every day being beaten up by my own sister and treated like a toy by my father. At the outburst, Father stood up and slapped me so hard across the face it left a big bruise on my cheek. You will not speak to me that way. You're weak. All you can do is heal, and no amount of fighting you do will ever change that. You will always be outsmarted and overpowered. You will never win. You will only ever be someone's side piece healer. Got it? I looked up at him, holding my cheek in pain with tears in my eyes. I wanted to respond and fight against his statement, but I couldn't find the words. I just ran. I ran out of the training room, through the kitchen and main room, up to the stairs and into my room. My room was a dark and dusty attic, no windows, and a bed that was a thin mattress top and only had a blanket sheet with one pillow. I slammed the door and threw myself onto the bed crying. Why am I like this? Why am I hated by everyone? Why am I even here? I asked myself, tears streaming down my face and speaking through tears. Chapter 3, Someone's Bitch. Like for part 3.